Hey, what's up? I chose The Fellowship of the Ring, which is part one of the Lord of the Rings series, and this is the book right here. As you can see, you got a Nazgul person right there. You got Frodo kind of hunched over, but yeah, this is the book. Perfect. Alrighty. The genre of The Fellowship of the Ring is it's a fantasy or an adventure book, if you consider that adventure a genre. But yeah, it's fantasy through and through, and most people consider it a high fantasy, whatever a high fantasy means. I'm just gonna call it a fantasy. What's up? I read the first part of the Lord of the Rings series, and it's called The Fellowship of the Ring. This is the book right here. As you can see, The Fellowship of the Ring, and got Frodo, we got a Nazgul. Yeah, this is the book. Alrighty. So the genre of the book, well, I consider it obviously a fantasy. The book is fantasy through and through. The entire, just everything about it is fantasy, and also an adventure. If you would consider an adventure like a genre, even though it's not really a genre, but most people consider it a high fantasy, whatever that means. It's whatever the high part means. I don't really know, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Why did I select the book? Well, I've watched all the movies. I've also watched all of the Hobbit movies, so as you can tell, I really do like the whole Middle Earth area. You know, like I really do like. I guess I should just say J.R.R. Tolkien, his works and stuff like that. But also, why I chose this book is because it's kind of iconic. You know, it's an original. It's, you know, a lot of people have read it and stuff like that, and it's very influential. This Lord of the Rings, it's influenced a lot of works that are in the fantasy area. And as I said before, the author of the book is J.R.R. Tolkien, and he was born January 3rd, 1892, and he actually made that book when he was 62 years old. So yeah, and some more information about him is that him and C.S. Lewis, if you don't know C.S. Lewis is, he made the Narnia series, which is also a really popular book series. But they were really, really good friends, and they also kind of shared ideas, as you know, they're both really high in fantasy. And I guess it worked out for them because they're both really successful writers, and they're also both influenced their books with Christianity, sort of. Even though Lord of the Rings is obviously less prominent, it's still somewhat influenced by religion in general. The two major themes in this book, you know, that I could find were definitely the dangers of power and good versus evil. One example, like one small detail that was the dangers of power, was whenever, like right off the bat, uh, Bilbo, who is related to Frodo, the main character, but Bilbo, he originally had the ring, and Gandalf was pretty much asking him for the ring, and Bilbo did not want to give it over because it held so much power, and he knew it held so much power, and he just had that, I guess, hunger for it, which is prominent in the entire book, of everyone just wanting the ring and wanting to, like, just have it. I don't know what else to say, but it's evil essentially, and yeah, and good versus evil is, eventually there's a character in the book whose name is Strider and Frodo. Those two are pretty much the main who you associate good with, because Strider's like a mentor to Frodo for a little bit. He's wise, and Frodo is the main character who is good. You know, you need a good main character. And evil is basically I'd consider the ring evil, honestly, even though it's doesn't live, it's an animate object. But the ring would be considered evil, and Sauron, who basically, he really wants the ring back because he originally had it, and he'll send like some of his minions to, like, basically try and kill them pretty much to steal the ring back. But yeah, that's dangers of power and good versus evil. Okay, and now the brief summary of the book. Okay, it starts off in essentially Gandalf assigns Frodo a mission to destroy the ring, and Frodo can't do it by himself, so Gandalf assigns a protector, Sam, who's actually a gardener. It's kind of funny. He's the protector of the most powerful ring in the planet, and he protects him with a gardener. But yeah, so they start their journey. They leave Hobbiton, and they stumble into some dude's farm, and there they meet two other hobbits, Merry and Pippin, and they leave and are together for a little bit, and they eventually make their way to an inn, and there they meet a dude whose name is Strider, and he's a ranger who's like an elite fighter pretty much, and who eventually reveals his name's like Aragorn or something, pretty much. Pretty cool name. But yeah, then my opinion of a main character. Well, Frodo is the main character of the book, and my opinion of him is that even though he's not perfect, no one is, no main character is perfect. He is brave, and he's also wise, and he does what's right despite the evil that's occurring. And I have excerpt I'm going to be reading, and it's page 499 of my book. Frodo rose to his feet. A great weariness was on him, but his will was firm and his heart lighter. He spoke aloud to himself. I will do now what I must, he said. This at least is plain. The evil of the ring is already at work, even in the company, and the ring must leave them before it does more harm. I will go alone. Some I cannot trust, and those I can trust are too dear to me. Poor old Sam and Merry and Pippin. Strider too. His heart yearns for Minas Tirith, and he will be needed there. Now Boromir has fallen into evil. I will go alone at once. That's a major decision to decide that he's going to break away from the party. Because you're stronger together, and he wants to go alone, and I think that's wise of him, because he knew that his group, well, specifically Boromir, but he knew that eventually more people would fall into the temptation of wanting the ring, all the power that it holds, and he makes the business decision of leaving, and eventually he'll leave with Sam, because Sam promised that he would protect Frodo. And yeah, this may be like too generic, or I guess a bit of a stretch, but I would consider this book really, really similar to the Bible, and in that way, because there are a lot of books in the Bible where it's a journey. There's good and evil along the journey, and pretty much so far in the Fellowship of the Ring, they've been doing a lot of traveling, and that's small. But also the Bible, how it's very rich in detail. They'll give like a bunch of names, family names, locations, and stuff like that. It's almost like what even is that word? I didn't know that word existed. But in Lord of the Rings, there's also a lot of weird words that, like, in this case, it's not true. It's just made up. It's Middle Earth. It's a completely different existence. It's not real, But all the creativity that is in this book, it's wild, and yeah, I would consider it really, really similar to the Bible. I'd also consider it similar to, obviously the Narnia series, because the Narnia series, like I said previously, they were the two creators of the books. They were really good friends, and they also share details. And Narnia it's also a made up land. A part of Narnia is real, but they go into, I don't know what it's called, the land, but I mean, I guess it's just called Narnia. But they go into that, and that place is made up as well. It's fake. There's a lot of weird names and weird towns that aren't real. So yeah, I think a lot of people would enjoy this book, but more specifically, someone who enjoys an in-depth book with a bunch of detail that doesn't mind reading a more lengthier book, and someone who really, really enjoys. I think a lot of people would enjoy this book if you like reading a book that's really rich in detail and has a bunch of lore to it, and you're never bored, and if you are, it's not gonna last for a long time. It's always packed with dialogue, with action, you know, and you can sometimes relate to the characters in a way, but yeah, but yeah, if you just like fantasy, like I said from the beginning, fantasy adventure journeys, this book is literally the original of that. So how could you not like this book? But yeah, I give this book a 10 out of 10.